We're going to stick with a story here in Charleston, South Carolina that has a lot of meaning to the people here. It's the Emanuel AME Church right here, right down the road from us. It's a symbol of resilience and hope. And nearly 5 years ago, we all know this story, in June of 2015, a white supremacist shot and killed 9 worshipers at the historic church known for its political activism. Dylann Roof was convicted in 2016 of all 33 federal charges, including hate crimes. We visited the church over the weekend, it's known as Mother Emanuel, to see how it's turning tragedy into action. We also spoke to House Majority Whip James Clyburn, who is expected to endorse former Vice President Joe Biden after this debate. He showed us how the church has become a base camp in the fight for change.
This is, of course, the sanctuary.
It's beautiful. Reverend Eric Manning oversees Mother Emanuel, the oldest black congregation south of Baltimore. A church that has been involved in nearly every political movement since its founding in 1816. Reverend Manning started leading this congregation about a year after the shooting death of 9 parishioners, including the beloved pastor, Clementa Pinckney. How difficult was it for you? I would imagine so many people leaned on you to bring them back to a new normal.
I must confess, Gayle, I think that process is still going on. We never really fully understand the amount of trauma a church, especially within the African American community, experiences when that type of hatred is displayed.
A hatred that 75-year-old Polly Shepard knows all too well. You were probably one of the few that actually had a conversation with Dylann Roof that day.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I was under the table looking up at him.
You saw him approaching?
I could see his shoes. He had on dirty Timberland boots. And he came up and asked me, did I shoot you yet? And I said, no. And he said, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave you here to tell a story.
One of the things that was so extraordinary about this horrible tragedy is that many people in the church seemed to forgive very quickly. Mm-hmm. Were you one of those people?
I wasn't the first one. I was busy at home feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I said, Lord, why did you leave me to think about all of this?
You had guilt for surviving?
I did.
I've heard that you would like to minister him in prison. Is that true?
I would.
What would you say to him?
I would go strictly by the Bible and go into the forgiveness part and just teach him how love is.
You said that to heal, you have to forgive.
Yeah.
Have you forgiven? Have you healed?
I'm healing.
Where do you think we are as a country as we sit here today?
Well, racism is still alive and well. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. I don't know what we can do about it. When things happen, then we all come together. Mm-hmm. But after a while, we go back to the same old things we've been doing.
Prayer and politics intersect often at Mother Emanuel.
How many of you have anything?
On this day, a political movement is taking shape in the church's basement, the site of the horrific mass shooting.
If you ever run for office.
That's where we met House Majority Whip James Clyburn, who's lending his political expertise to the Congressional Black Caucus Institute's workshop. Why do you think this type of training is necessary to empower the future black politicians?
Well, I think one of the big mistakes we make, especially in my party, is not recognizing that there's talent in the African American community beyond that which is traditional. And in order to make sure that we get beyond tradition is one of the reasons that we started the boot camp.
What's the negative self-talk?
The nonpartisan political boot camp aims to improve access to advocacy and campaign training for all Americans, free of charge. What do you hope that they learn during that time?
Well, we're hopeful that they will learn that politics is more than a science to be studied. It is an art to be practiced. Mm-hmm. Because art, you never perfect the art.
How are you?
As Congressman Clyburn helps build the future pipeline of politicians, South Carolina's kingmaker sounds off on the current Democratic field. There are no people of color on it. Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. We can't guarantee success. We can guarantee opportunity. And what the DNC did was guarantee opportunity. We started out with a big number, and that's one of the reasons we had the boot camp. Teach people how to fundraise, Because what got our people of color out of this contest more than anything else was being able to afford to get their message out.
Here in South Carolina, 60% of Democratic voters are black, making this first in the South primary a test of who can connect with black voters. South Carolina will tell a very important story when that vote comes in.
That's true. South Carolina is a very conservative state. But there's something about fundamental fairness that you get in South Carolinians. If you look through history, you never saw the acrimony in South Carolina that you got in Mississippi, Alabama.
I like that fundamental fairness. I like that.
There's a fundamental fairness you get in South Carolinians. A
state with a sense of fundamental fairness. A community fighting against hatred. And a sacred space that embodies the power of forgiveness. What do you say to people that are struggling with this message of, it's so divisive, it's so hateful, the rhetoric is out there? What is your message to those people?
I usually say you have to learn the next person. Communicate and try to get along. Love is the answer to everything. Boy, Polly Shepard hopes to see a more united country soon, she says. She thinks that some of the divisive rhetoric is coming from the top down. She doesn't know who she will vote for yet. She says she might make a spur-of-the-moment decision based on what she hears at tonight's Democratic debate. She says she will be watching, and she also told us, guys, that she has narrowed it down to two candidates, and she's pretty sure, she's not sure which one of the two. She's really paying attention. But I thought she was an amazing, remarkable woman. Just the fact that she wants to go to prison. And Minister Dylan Roof, who you know, by the way, has not shown any remorse for the shooting.
Yeah, well, when you talk about the divide in this country, I think if more people approach their life the way Polly does, there'd be a lot less divisiveness.
I can't imagine carrying what she's carried for these last 5 years, and for her to be in the place where she is really, it's really impressive. Gayle, thank you.
No, you're welcome.